Good morning, everyone. These are Sanibel updates as of October 2nd, 2022. I'm going to go over today's updates from the mayor and city manager first. After that, I will answer questions from yesterday's video. Please feel free to leave any questions in the comments down below, and I will do my best to find the answers. Sanibel Island is still on a 24-hour curfew. The search and rescue team evacuated 250 people on Friday and 150 people on Saturday. No more fatalities have been reported, so that means in total only 4 deaths have been recorded. A couple people asked about like a list of missing people or how many people are still on the island. There is no list out there. No one has reported that. The police are having a minor issue with theft. The police had to escort more trespassers off of the island. They were hoping the National Guard would get to Sanibel sooner, but the National Guard will not arrive until Tuesday. The street crews are working hard to make the roads passable, but they keep getting flat tires from all the nails all over the road. Once the contracted company that is in charge of removing debris arrives next week with their big machinery with thicker tires, flat tires won't be an issue. This contracted company is ready to go. They were just waiting for the barge to get their big equipment over onto the island. The barge did arrive today, or they've had the barge in Fort Myers. They were just waiting for the access, and they got the access today, and that allowed the Sanibel police to bring all their vehicles back to Sanibel. The police did, before the hurricane, move all of their vehicles over to Fort Myers for safekeeping, and now they need to bring it back to the island so they can do their normal patrols. The water processing plant restored water to the Public Works building and the rec center. This decision was made so the National Guard and other work crews had an area to stage, to rest, to clean up, etc. The water plant is not 100% operational yet. Still more repair work to be done. So water is not being connected to like residences or businesses, just the ones I mentioned, the businesses that, like City Hall and the police department that needs to work because they're all on the island doing what they can. The City Council is also working on a plan to allow business owners and residents to temporarily return to the island to retrieve necessary personal items or businesses to go in and check on the status of their buildings. Pretty much everyone is unhappy that they are not immediately allowed to return to the island. I can understand their frustration, but I just feel like they need to listen to the City Council. Fueling their frustration is that Captiva Island is opening back up on Monday, October 3rd, to all residents who can reach the island by boat. It seems like the damage to Captiva was very minimal. So if you're not familiar with Captiva, when you're in Fort Myers, you cross the bridge over to Sanibel, and then you drive through Sanibel and you cross another little bridge into Captiva, and then Captiva is like the end of the road. And so I always thought they worked together, but it seemed like the Sanibel's city mayor or city manager was very surprised when he heard that Captiva is opening tomorrow. I think it's going to be very hard on Sanibel because they are trying to keep trespassers and looters out. And so now anyone with a boat can dock on Captiva. No one's questioning them on Captiva, and they can work their way over to Sanibel. It's just going to make it more difficult for the police on Sanibel. So I am surprised that Captiva decided to open like that. The city manager is still encouraging all residents who refuse to evacuate to please leave the island. They have been surviving on food and water the fire department has been handing out. As of Monday, October 3rd, the fire department will stop handing out food and water and start concentrating on other projects. So yes, unless these holdouts stockpiled a huge amount of food, there's no resources. There's no water. There's no restaurants open. There's no electric. What else do we need? Gas. I don't think there's gas on Sanibel, like a natural gas, but whatever. There's no utilities, and so these holdouts have been, depending on the fire department, and they just want to work on getting the island back in shape. My overall impression is that the Sanibel community is not one big happy family. It seems like a lot of the property owners want to do their own thing instead of listening to the city manager. a lot of these homeowners are like offering like barges and supplies, etc., etc. And the city manager appreciates all of this, but you still have to go through the proper network. Like, it doesn't matter if there's 10 barges that show up tomorrow. There are not 10 places on the island to dock 10 barges. There's only one place that that barge can dock. So it's so hard, because I do feel like these property owners are trying to do the right thing, but they don't necessarily want to listen to what the city manager or mayor has to say. I'm going to go over some of responses to some questions now. The Sanibel Beach Club near the lighthouse looks really great. One building has major roof damage, but all the other buildings look really great. There was one spot on the aerial footage that it looks like there's a building flattened, but I don't know if that was from the hurricane or if there was construction beforehand. I haven't been to the beach club for a while, so I don't know if that area was pre-existing construction. The lighthouse is still standing. The buildings underneath the lighthouse are gone. But the lighthouse is still standing. The lighthouse pier is still standing, but it has structural damage. Most likely it will have to be rebuilt. The Periwinkle Trailer Park has water damage, some debris, but overall the mobile homes look really great. I saw some roof damage, but it looked great. Much better than a lot of mobile homes in Fort Myers. It just looked really good. I do not have an update on the bird aviaries, but the structures do look intact. Bailey's has some roof damage and the parking lot was flooded. No one mentioned the floodwater today. I'm assuming it's receded by now, but I cannot confirm that. I'm also not for sure how much water actually got into Bailey's. Jerry's looks great from aerial footage. There's really no significant damage there. I doubt they have water damage, because remember, Jerry's was built up on stilts, so I'm pretty sure they fared pretty good. Cheeseburger building looks great with no debris around it. Shell Point looks great, no damage that I could see from aerial footage. The boats in the harbor look fine, but I'm sure there's still some water damage. The owner of the Sanibel Captiva Beach Resorts reports that Castaways and Beach View are completely gone. Tween Waters Resort and Westwind Inn is in great shape and should not take too long to get back running, which doesn't matter in the short term because the island is still closed and will be for the foreseeable future. The owner of Cabbage Key Inn and Tarpon Lodge has reported damage and will be closed for the time being. If you aren't familiar with Cabbage Key, it is an island that has great cheeseburgers and history. For tourists, boat rides were offered from South Seas Resort to Cabbage Key for lunch. It was a personal fave that I do every time I go to Sanibel. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm reading from a teleprompter. I took notes and I typed it out because I did not want to go off on a tangent, which I have a tendency to do. So I probably will post another video tomorrow as long as more updates are coming out.